Before Egypt built its first kingdom, before pharaohs ruled the Nile, there was a prophecy so terrifying, it was carved into stone and buried beneath the desert. It spoke of a wanderer, a man with no title, no lineage, destined to awaken forces older than the gods themselves. Tonight, that prophecy returns.
Torches flickered along the endless sandstone corridor. Kemet walked between two towering guards, his small footsteps echoing like whispers of fear. He tried to look brave, but his heart raced as if it already knew something was coming. Before him, the unseen high priest spoke from the shadows, his voice calm, too calm. Kemet clutched his little satchel closer, confused, anxious, wondering why a simple scribe like him had been summoned at this hour. When the bronze seal touched his ink-stained hands, his fingers tightened. He could feel the weight of it, heavy, ancient, dangerous, and though he didn't understand why, he knew this night would change him. Led deep beneath the temple, Kemet stepped into a circular chamber lit by a single floating blue flame. In the center waited a golden box. Every carving on the walls watched him like silent judges. He felt curiosity pulling him forward and fear pulling him back. With trembling hands, he cracked the black resin seal. The sound echoed like a bone snapping. Dust rose. The papyrus inside seemed to breathe, as if awakening from a long sleep. He held the scroll close to the blue flame and read out loud. The symbols shimmered, their reflections dancing in his wide eyes. And the farther he read, the colder the air became. Suddenly, the hieroglyphs carved into the chamber walls glowed gold. A trembling light washed over Kemet's face. Awe and terror collided in his chest as the room responded to his voice.
Then, the sand on the floor began to rise. Swirling golden smoke gathered before him, twisting into the enormous shape of a man. Kemet stood frozen as the spirit of Pharaoh Smen-Khotep returned from the other world. Kemet lifted his gaze, barely able to breathe. The Pharaoh towered above him, glowing, translucent, magnificent. It felt like standing before a god or a storm. In Kemet's eyes, the bright face of the Pharaoh reflected perfectly. His dread deepened. Why him? Why now? Why had the scroll chosen his voice to awaken a king? A roar of wind exploded through the chamber. Statue heads turned, sand rained down. The scroll lifted from his hands as if pulled by invisible fingers. Panic surged through him. This was no ritual, this was a trap. A sudden cold pressure pressed against his back, the high priest's dagger. Kemet gasped as the scroll dragged his arms forward, torn between the living and the dead. Terror swallowed him whole. From his perspective, the letters on the scroll twisted and writhed like living snakes. One final line glowed in red gold fire, promising a curse that would doom the land if completed. With a shout that came from deep inside him, Kemet ripped the scroll in two. The papyrus screamed as golden energy shattered outward like broken sunlight. For the first time this night, he chose his own destiny. The high priest staggered back, his skin cracked, his body crumbled. Within seconds, he dissolved into swirling sand, leaving Kemet alone in a storm of golden dust, shocked, drained, barely standing. Then the impossible happened. The mighty Pharaoh kneeled before him. Kemet's breath caught as a warm, shimmering hand rested over his heart. A golden sigil burned softly beneath his skin, not painful, but powerful. A blessing, a thank you. He had saved the kingdom without even understanding how. The chamber around him dissolved into golden dust. Walls, pillars, torches, everything fell away in a blinding wave of light. Kemet stood in the center, glowing, suspended between worlds. When the light faded,
he found himself standing alone under the blazing desert sun. The underground chamber? Gone. Only endless dunes stretched around him, and the distant city shimmered far on the horizon. Kemet exhaled, unsure whether he had just survived a miracle or a nightmare. But as he began walking across the golden dunes, something in him had changed. His steps were no longer timid, his shoulders no longer slouched. The boy who entered the temple was gone. A new man walked out. The golden reed pen in his hand glowed softly. The inscription, "Write your destiny," shined like a promise. His grip tightened with confidence he had never known. He turned toward the sun, sand in his hair, strength in his eyes, and a small knowing smile on his face. Kemet, the scribe who never wanted greatness, had become the keeper of a pharaoh's blessing.
Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe for more.